Hey viewers, today we'll be taking the Aston Valkyrie at Golden Axe and Aston multiplayer in the European Season 2 multiplayer season. You can take multiple cars from the European Season Part 2 at Golden Axe. Now, this car is a relatively mid-range class S car, and it's basically supposed to be a center competitor. Here we're going for the first race, we're going up against Wine, which is a really good player. But in this race, I'm probably not going to spoil it for you, but it's a very close race near the end. But in this Valkyrie, what's up about this car is it was a relatively difficult special event, I'm pretty sure, because, well, it needed 85 blueprints. And I'm pretty sure that was just to unlock it, and it needs around 300 to 6 star it. This car probably was not worth it to spend on, especially since the Venom F5 was directly after, because, well, this car is only mid-range, and the Venom F5 is the new king of the game, because new test drives that came out for the Venom F5, and you can see it's the best car in the game by a huge margin, because it's the fastest car in the game by at least 10 miles an hour, because it goes 335 miles an hour with Nitro, I'm pretty sure, compared to the Yesco's 324, and the drifting is even sharper than the Yesco. It's also more float. It's actually on par with the Laboratory Noir. If not, it's even better than the Laboratory Noir when it comes to floaty. The speed loss, it's really good because of the fact it's floaty. Like, it will literally do a floaty when you drift normally, like the Evo. But the drifting radius is so sharp that you literally wouldn't notice it. The acceleration is fairly average. It's actually a fake acceleration stat. I'm pretty sure the Yesco accelerates faster than it. And the nitro efficiency, well, it was like it's the new lowest in class S, I'm pretty sure, and it is that way. But because of that, it probably won't be king on very twisty tracks. But at the same time, it's very, very good at keeping speed. And well, there's no other car that can keep a speed above 400 or not 400. There's no car that can keep a speed above 440 while drifting around an entire track in the game, compared to the Venom, which can literally just do it without a vowel, because it's the most floaty car in the game. It literally do the best floaty by just punching. Unfortunately, I won't be going for it because I do not have the cars that are required for it, and I don't have the Legend Pass. And also, the prerequisite for it is Veyron and Elva. And the Veyron is not that good of a car. Like, comparing the Veyron to this car that we're testing right now in this multiplayer, plus the Valkyrie is likely a better car for most cases than the Veyron, because despite the Veyron being like the Veyron doing 30 miles an hour faster, it can't actually reach that top speed if you try giving it in its free try in the Heatwave Season 1 multiplayer season at Golden. Even at Gold, it still can't keep its speed very high. And it has an acceleration stat of 81, but that doesn't really matter because it's very hard to get it to the top speed. And the nitro lasts very short too, so the shockwave won't last long enough to get you to a high top speed, and the drifting makes you lose a lot of speed very fast. And the Veyron's drifting, it's not that sharp and it's not floaty. Well, it is floaty, but it's not very floaty. It's kind of on par with cars like the it's say Nissan GT or Nismo. While this car, everything about this car is better except except acceleration and top speed, because its handling, it's better, it's floaty, so you can do floaty drifts, and you can keep a very high speed. It's like the 911 GT2, and also the nitro is even longer. So while the Veyron is 30 miles an hour faster, the Valkyrie can keep itself at its top speed way longer, and while the Veyron is running about at, let's say 220 miles an hour, this car is running around at 244, and if you do the math, 244 is better than 220, I'm pretty sure. I'm not that great at math, but I can assume that way. So if you were going for a high-end class S car, then don't go for the Veyron, and this car probably wasn't worth it either. I'd say save for the Regera or the Sheeran when it comes out in the Legend Store every few days, especially if you get to Rock level 18, the Regera is really good. You can see here the car was able to do floaty when punching, or at least it would punch and it would bounce really fast and very high. And that's basically a good characteristic of a floaty car, because the longer you can make a car balance with the floaty, well, the better speed you're going to be able to keep. Because in Aston 9, you need all 4 wheels to be on the ground. And it's kind of like the same thing with the Mola, where basically the Mola, it's drifting, it's good, but because it's the front of it's sinking into the floor, you can't really tell because it's constantly doing the floating. And if you look at the rear of the car, you can see the outermost wheel for the drift is sticking up. So that's why the Mola had such a good drifting speed. And basically the same thing is happening with the Venom F5, where basically if you drift hard enough, the front of the car will just go up. And that's why it's really good at keeping speed around the track. If you've seen the test ride videos, you can know what I mean. Or if you drift a Devo, like in the ESL Mobile Open Season qualifiers for iOS and Android, you can basically see that the Devo, it keeps speed a lot easier because, well, it's constantly doing the floating. Well, because of that, it can't drift, it just goes in a straight line. I mean, well, even after the Devo was buffed, it's still not the greatest at drifting. I'd say the Rodeo is better than it because it's having to do the floating all the time and the Rodeo doesn't. But the Devo is still a good multiplayer car, but basically the Devo is just not great for come to events. But it's really good because it has good acceleration, handling, and hydro. Now, as we go and finish this race, we move on to the last race of the video, which is, I'd say, a race against a Senna. Basically, well, my thoughts of this car is it's very good Class S car, although it probably would have made more sense to put in Class A. It's very good. Speed is very low for Class S. I feel like it's 44 miles an hour compared to the class average of 275. Acceleration is average, it's only 80.2, which is almost the lowest in the class. The handling is very good. It's basically a nerd Senna, or it's like I don't know, it drifts very nicely. It's very floaty, and I like that fact. The drifting radius is very sharp, it doesn't need to be very fast. The intro is pretty long, especially the Class S standards, where the average is like around 55 or lower. This car is really good in multiplayer, so if you've unlocked it, congratulations, because you have a very good multiplayer car. It won't win all the time, especially since it's so slow, but it still will do well if you have the high stars. So, I'd like to thank you for watching my video. Maybe leave a like, comment, or subscribe, or join my Discord server, but I hope to see you in my next one. Goodbye.